Hi guys. So if you saw my earlier video, you will have seen me talking about how I chose my own wedding cake from a lady on a market stall who I had never met before, and I didn't really know anything about cakes. And I'm guessing that if this is your first wedding cake that you will have ordered, then perhaps you don't really know how to go about ordering your wedding cake either. So I just thought I might give you a little insight into what you might need to be looking for when you set off on the journey to choosing your cake maker. So for anybody who hasn't already met me, my name is Diane and I run Dream Cake Designs. I've been running it as a business, a full-time business, since 2009. Although I have been making cakes for many years prior to that. So it's all exciting. You're engaged, you've started planning your wedding, you started looking at bridal gowns, you're looking at venues, you've probably got ideas in your head that you've had for a number of years of where you'd like to get married, what you would like your bridal gown to look like, how many bridesmaids you're going to have. But how many people actually give thought to what they want their wedding cake to look like? I know I didn't until I saw it. And this is the thing. So you would think that choosing a wedding cake was probably going to be one of the easiest things that you might need to do for your wedding. But actually it's quite an in-depth process. But what I would like to do for you is to just try and make it a little bit easier. So for those of you who are on the journey and you are starting to look for your wedding cake, you're probably going to be about 12 months out from your wedding. Some really organised brides start looking earlier. Some who are perhaps a little less organised or who are a little more laid back might start looking a little later, so sort of six months before the wedding. So what I would suggest is probably 12 to 18 months is a really good time to start thinking about your wedding cake. Most cake makers, including myself, we do get booked up quite quickly, especially during popular summer months. Unfortunately this year has been completely different. So for all those beautiful brides to be out there who have had to postpone their wedding, my heart is with you. I've had brides myself who we've had to postpone, and we've decided to go with next year. So already next year is looking really busy, and I am currently taking orders up to 2022. So again, you know, time constraints, we only have so many hours in a day, and for myself I wouldn't normally book 2 wedding cakes for the same weekend. So yeah, spaces do get filled quickly. Anyway, I digress. So when you're looking for your wedding cake, what do you need to be looking for? So firstly, you're probably going to have an idea maybe of the colours, the theme for your wedding. So that's probably where you're going to start looking. You know, you're probably on Pinterest, on Instagram, perhaps Facebook, perhaps your friend's been married and you've seen their cake which has kind of inspired you, or you've got your own ideas which you would like to take forward into having created on your cake. So first and foremost, check out your cake maker. That is vitally important. So as I said, I've been making cakes for a number of years, and I didn't start offering wedding cakes until I was 100% certain of my ability to make a wedding cake. It's not easy, it does include structure, there is a skill involved, and it takes time, and it also takes time to learn. And sometimes we have to learn through our mistakes, and what I didn't want to do is to make a mistake and have to learn through that at a bride's wedding, at anybody's wedding, a groom's wedding. It needs to be absolutely perfect for your day, and you need to be confident in your cake maker that he or she knows absolutely what they are doing and they can deliver the cake of your dreams. So where to start? A good place to start is a wedding fair. There are lots, although obviously not been happening recently, but there are generally lots in local venues. Have a look around, ask friends, ask family, go on some wedding sites, do your research. When you find someone who looks like they may be able to offer the style of cake that you're looking for, get in touch. Any cake maker that is worth their salt will be willing to answer questions, any questions. It's not always about price. Some cake makers charge more than others. Some cake makers are more skilled than others. Some cake makers charge more and are less skilled. Some cake makers are more skilled and charge less. It is entirely up to that cake maker, but it is up to you to decide which cake maker is right for you. So what I do see is a lot of cake makers, and this is a little bit of a bugbear of mine, and it may be a little bit controversial, so please do bear with me. I see a lot of cake makers who, encouraged, great, by family, by friends, oh yeah, that's great, yeah, you've made a brilliant wedding cake, a brilliant birthday cake, fantastic. Will you make my wedding cake? Or, you know, will you make my friend's wedding cake? And off they toddle, and they buy ingredients, and they buy all the necessaries, but don't necessarily have the knowledge and experience that it takes to put that wedding cake together. And sometimes disasters happen, and it's sad. It is so, so sad that these things happen. So what I'm trying to say is check out your cake maker. If your friend offers to make your cake, fine, absolutely fine, provided you know that it may not be perfect, there may be a few imperfections, your friend's not a professional, she's not necessarily that experienced, absolutely wonderful, but she is providing you with a cake with love. If you want to be absolutely sure that your cake is going to be the cake of your dreams, then do please, as I say, do your research. So a professional cake maker who makes cakes as a business for a living will put their heart and soul into your cake. They will do everything they can to deliver your perfect wedding cake for your perfect day. They will liaise with the venue, they will deliver the cake no matter what it takes. Yes, I do drive like a granny, although I am one, when I'm delivering wedding cakes. I'm generally like Lewis Hamilton when I've dropped it off, but that's another story. So a wedding cake maker, or any cake maker, needs to be registered with the local council. Check that out, that it is important. So they need to be registered, they need to have insurance. That's not insurance against your wedding being cancelled, that's a completely different thing. But they need to have public liability insurance and product insurance to make sure that they are covered in case of any claims against them. It has been known, luckily not to me, but it has been known. The other thing is, check out their cakes. So taste their cakes. It's all well and good that their cake looks absolutely beautiful. You see stunning pictures, lots of beautiful sugar flowers, edible lace, fabulous cake creations on the website, and the website is all singing, all dancing, and it looks totally professional. But if you haven't tasted those cakes until your wedding day, how do you know what they're going to be like? So make sure that you taste their cakes. The other thing that I would obviously recommend as well is that your chosen cake maker has a food hygiene certificate. Now, making cakes as a home-based business is actually classed as low risk. That doesn't mean to say that your chosen cake maker should not cover absolutely every single risk that there is possible. So obviously cleanliness, hygiene, allergy training, yay. COVID training, yeah, I've just completed my COVID training certificate. Make sure that they know what they're doing. Talk to them. Get them to answer questions. Please, please, please don't just see a wedding cake on a beautiful website and automatically assume that that is what you will end up with. Things happen, and unfortunately there are cake makers out there, or wannabe cake makers, who don't necessarily have the honesty, the integrity that you're perhaps looking for. So just a little bit of an insight. As I say, a little bit of a controversial subject because most cake makers are absolutely lovely. I have lots of friends in the industry, and we do pass work on to each other, especially if, you know, someone down at the bottom end of the country wants a cake at the top end of the country, then, you know, delivery is sometimes like a little bit too far. But as I said, most cake makers are absolutely on the ball. They will deliver, they will give you what you're looking for, but make sure that it does what it says on the tin. Okay, bye.